The next riding tip we're going to go over is seat position, and seat position is a common problem with most riders. A lot of people become confused about where they actually need to sit, and a lot of different disciplines require just a slight difference in the change of the upper body or the incline of the upper body. And what we're going to go over today is your basic home seat, is what I call it. I always have a home position for everything so the rider knows what to come back to. And you'll see that Bethany is actually wearing a flashlight, and I'm a big prop user. I love to use props to help my riders understand exactly what I'm looking for. So what we're going to start with is a lot of people don't really know where their seat bones are. So you do have a right seat bone and a left seat bone. So Bethany, I'm going to ask you to take your feet out of the stirrups for me. And you want to make sure that your horse is standing still when you do this, and do have the help of a helper to hold on to your horse if you need to. Okay, so go ahead and bring your both legs over the pommel and keep your knees bent. Good. And then I want you to just slide forward and scoot your butt forward in the saddle. Exactly. And you can see that this flashlight is going to point straight down through the horse's belly. And that's what we're looking for. So you can feel now that you're on your seat bones, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So go ahead and put your feet back in the stirrups. Good. And what we're going to find is that now the position of her body is more upright. Okay, even in English riding, you want to make sure that you can use this seat because this is your neutral position. All right, we're going to talk about the 3 positions of the seat, and we're going to use this flashlight because this is a good view of what it actually looks like with your pelvis. So Bethany, go ahead and tilt your pelvis forward for me slightly, and you can see now that the flashlight, which will resemble her seat bones, is starting to point back towards the horse's back legs, and that's what we don't want. Because this way, when you're sitting this way, your lower leg will slide back slightly, and now your upper body's inclined too far forward, which is going to make you pull on the horse's reins too much. Okay, go ahead and show us the other, which is too far back. And now you can see that the flashlight is going to be starting to point towards the horse's front legs. And we don't want that either because this actually becomes like a chair seat, and it can also be a driving seat for a horse. So go ahead and position your body so that your flashlight is pointing straight down through Mancha's belly. And you want to pretend like this flashlight is as big and as bright as possible. So it's going to point straight down through his belly as much as possible while she's riding. All right, so the next thing that I want to go over is I have this smiley face bucket here, and I want to talk about the pelvis because a lot of people don't really exactly know where the pelvis is located. If the inside of her body were this bucket, right exactly where her seat is, and it was filled to the top with water, if you were to tilt your body forward, show us what would happen with the water bucket. Okay, so you could see that the water would start pouring out the front. We don't want that. Okay, so go ahead and keep the bucket neutral. Good. And then show us what it would look like if you started to lean back too much with your seat. So now the water would start to come out of the back of the bucket. So we want to make sure that the bucket stays level and even, and that's just a good visual and a good imagery essential for you to use as you're riding. I'll take that bucket. Okay. And one more thing, as she's sitting, she wants to make sure that her seat bone is in fact over the top of her heel. So we're going to actually move her lower leg back just slightly. There you go. And now her lower leg is actually hanging in neutral position, which gives her the most effective leg cue. Okay, we can also see, we'll fix your flashlight, that the flashlight would be pointing straight down towards her heel, which is exactly where we want it to be. It's almost as if the rider is sitting on their heel. So that's just some tips for you to help you find your seat bones and help you have a much more effective, influential seat.